Is Prince Harry's apparent stubbornness continuing to damage his relationship with his friends and his family? Because I read lots of different articles and I see lots of different news snippets talking to what they call a source, which may well be one of them or one of his friends or somebody close to them or close to one of his friends, to tell them exactly what's going on. Well, join me to talk about it on the comfort of my orange sofa after a long day's work. I'm feeling kind of sore today because I did about 6 hours of training last night. But, by the by, the first article that came up was actually about 10 days old now. It's from People magazine, which said why Prince Harry missed the Duke of Westminster's wedding and where Prince William was an usher. Now, this was an interesting article because, again, it refers to a source and says a source told People that Harry's RSVP, reply s'il vous plaît, was an understanding between the two friends. Going on to say that while Prince Harry had been invited to the wedding, there was an acknowledgement on both sides that it might be difficult for him to attend, with Prince Harry now being based in the United States and no longer having access to Frogmore Cottage. This source apparently confirmed that the two of them had mutually agreed that Harry would not go. The source, once again, said that Harry sends his love and support and admiration for the couple on their wedding day. Now, obviously, the source could be Prince Harry himself, or it could be anyone that works for him, it could be a messenger, could be anybody that has been told to go and speak to the magazine and give them this information. That's all fine, because what that does is it allows the public to be kept informed about what's going on, but without Prince Harry actually being directly quoted. So that's how these things often happen. They find somebody who is willing to talk to the press on their behalf, and they're a bit of a go-between. Or it may even be Prince Harry himself and just said, look, just don't print my name, don't tell them it was me, don't tell them that I've spoken to you because I'd rather not be directly quoted. That might be one of the conditions upon which he's speaking to the press. That's just a guess. It may not actually be the case. But sometimes I understand from my learned friend Alan Robertshaw that in the media business, that is very often how these things happen. But as I said at the outset, I get the feeling that the apparent stubbornness on Prince Harry's part might be costing him his friendships and certainly his family relationships, because he's missing out on all of these events, which must be upsetting. Because although he's based in the United States and it must be more difficult to come across to the UK, especially whilst there are genuine questions going on about his security, and he's obviously fighting that in court, and there must be a concern. I mean, all of us have some security concerns when we're going out and about. He must know that all of the recent publications are going to have some bearing and some impact on his security, because he's made a big deal about those in his court filings. And so all of that comes together, does make for a difficult time to come across and visit the United Kingdom and visit any of these events. But perhaps it goes even more deeply than that. Some of the news that I've watched and read gives the impression that he's just being stubborn and not willing to reconcile with the family, and therefore has not been given an invitation. He wasn't there, for example, for Father's Day, and Sky News Australia said that they very much doubt that there'll be a Father's Day card in the mail. And then we come to Hello Magazine that reported on exactly this. So they're all picking up on it. Hello Magazine said Prince Harry's special celebration one day after King Charles' birthday parade. That's the Trooping the Colours one that I talked about. It says Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex, quietly celebrated Father's Day the day after the royals stepped out for the King's birthday parade in London. That was the Trooping the Colours. Prince Harry resides in Montecito with his wife Meghan and their 2 children. They did not share any new images of Harry with his son and daughter, in line with their stance to allow Archie and Lilibet to grow up as private citizens. So in other words, he spent Father's Day at home. Now, no criticism there. So did I. Well, for the most part, anyway. I went training for half of it. So my treat, if you like, to myself was more training. So I did about 6 hours of training last night. But all of this I do find a little bit odd, because most people with a public profile share something of their celebrations, be it birthdays, Christmas, Easter, Eid, or in this case, Father's Day. And even the Prince and Princess of Wales Instagram account posted a really lovely old photo and said, "Happy Father's Day, Pa. W. William," obviously. And so I do think it's a real shame. Regardless of what's happened before, I do think it's a real shame that there doesn't seem to be any sign of rekindling of this relationship. And there was a rather sad message posted on the royal family social media page that said, "Wishing all dads and those who may be missing their parents today a relaxing Father's Day." Now, some media outlets have taken that to be a hint as to Harry missing his father, the king. I didn't quite read it like that. I read it as though it's a message to everybody that may be missing their parents, like, I miss my father. We sadly lost him some years ago now, and I think of him all the time, not just on Father's Day. And so that's how I took that message. I took it to everybody that is missing their parents, not just as a subtle hint to Harry, which is how it's been portrayed in some of the articles that I've read. Let me know what you think in the comments below, because maybe that is a subtle hint to Prince Harry. Maybe it isn't. I'm not really sure. There's certainly more than one way of reading it, and I don't think the king or anyone in the royal family would hint like that. I think if they wanted to say something nice to one of the members of the family, I think they would probably just say it. But I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments, because clearly the Prince and Princess of Wales account was a direct message. Very short, very simple. Happy Father's Day, Pa. I thought that was very, very loving, very close, very personable. And that's the kind of thing that I would like to see and I would like to expect, because there's actually a very much broader thought process that I have going on here with Prince Harry and all of this sort of stuff. And that is, stubbornness can really damage not just your relationships with other people, but it can damage you. If you are stubborn in the relationships and the confrontations and the disagreements that you have with other people, if you remain stubborn, then that remains something negative in your mind and in your heart. And unless and until you resolve that in yourself, which may or may not be involving the other person, it may or may not involve the person that you've had a dispute with, you may not necessarily have to rekindle that relationship. But until you resolve that negativity, that stubbornness, the disagreement between you and somebody else or something else, until you resolve that, I don't think you can move on, because it's a bit like a lead ball and chain. It's something that will forever hold you back, and it will affect how you think. It will affect how you act. It will affect how you react to different situations. And so if you had these disagreements in the past, that's exactly where they are. And I think by moving on, we can really let go of that negativity. And if someone from your past were to pop up and you have that previous negativity with them, perhaps you can let that go. There was a very interesting quote or phrase in a TV show we were watching recently in Manifest. Slightly corny, but somewhat enjoyable, relaxing program just to sit and watch while I sit and stretch, which I do every day, by the way. It was asking, who do you need to forgive? And if you really break that phrase down, and I do because I'm a lawyer, if you break that phrase down, who do you need to forgive? And you can look back. Everybody needs to forgive somebody. Everyone's had a disagreement with somebody. Unless you've lived a very solitary life and you've never done anything, you've never had any opportunity for confrontation with anyone about anything at all, then everyone has someone that they can forgive for something. And that doesn't necessarily mean you reach out and tell them so. But in your mind and in your heart, you can do that, and then you can let that go. I do think it's better if you have the opportunity to reach out and tell them and connect with them. That may not be feasible because the bust up, the argument may have been so harsh that you just can't do that anymore. there's one or two, very often with business and things like that, there's one or two that I could think of that I might think, well, I would do that. But at the same time, I don't know how they would react. And without knowing that, I might cause them more pain and more heartache. And so that's the main reason I might not do that. But in my mind and in my heart, I let certain things go. And I personally forgive those things. And I'm sure other people would perhaps think the same way about me. And so thinking about this situation with Prince Harry and living over there, his relationship with his friends obviously seems to be, if not damaged, the essence of that moving relationship and attending each other's special events is clearly having an effect on their relationship. It's clearly not allowing them to experience that friendship and that relationship to the fullest extent possible, because one of them has this unresolved tension or an unresolved problem or negativity surrounding their life and surrounding what's going on. And without eradicating that, it has this ongoing effect on everything else in their lives. So I think that is quite sad. But I also think it's possible to get over that. And I've been reading about a fascinating it's a bleeding edge scientific research called quantum entanglement. And it's similar in nature to what you may have heard of with manifestation, because on a quantum level, now this is going to get scientific for some reason now, on a quantum level, they have shown that particles are affected by the mere observation of those particles. And quantum entanglement suggests that time is a construct. And actually, to another observer, the entire universe may appear to stand still. And it is this quantum entanglement between different particles that have an effect on each other and therefore create this notion of time. And so if you really explore that, and think to yourself, what entanglement, what impact am I having on someone else? Are they having on me? And is there a way that I can, in fact, move beyond what is right now? Because right now is a construct. The past is a construct, and the future is a construct. So thinking of what we can do right now to unentangle certain things allows you to move forward positively. And I've just realized that this may become a window into the way that I think when I sit on my orange sofa thinking about things. Let me know if this has sparked any thought process, or certainly let me know if it encourages you to reach out to somebody, or at the very least, let go of some negativity that you may have been carrying around for some time. And if so, I wish you peace and happiness in letting that go. Sometimes somebody once said to me, you need permission. You just need permission for something. Well, if you're watching this now, and if you're still watching this, well done. If you're still watching this now, then it was meant to be. And you have my permission to let go. I hope that's useful. Thank you for joining me for these thoughts, and I'll see you next time.